It's been 2 years, 9 months since the Lily mine disaster. You'll remember 3 workers died after they were trapped when the ground caved in at the operation in Louisville, east of Barberton, that's in Mpumalanga. The mine then went into business rescue after that incident. Our reporter, Govan Whittles, is in the area just to try and gauge the impact that disaster had on that community. Govan, I remember it so clearly, the day that the disaster first unfolded, and the hope that everyone really had that container would in fact be brought to the surface. Of course, we now know that the bodies of those 3 people were never recovered. That container is still stuck underground. Talk to us about how that community has recovered over the past almost 3 years.
Well, Michelle, it's a case of the community not recovering over the past 3 years. Ever since the collapse and the subsequent closure of the Lily and Barbrook mines, the community has lost a primary source of income for most of the working people in the area. Since then, as I said earlier, there's been a road that's been constructed here and some RDP houses which have been built, and this has alleviated some of the burden, but fundamentally most of the people here have been left unemployed. And I am joined now by some of the community members from the Louisville area. With me specifically is Mr. Sizwe Mabasa. He is a former employee of the Lily mine and also one of the workers who never received their severance package after the mine has closed. He'll be able to give us more insight into exactly how the community has been coping since that collapse. Mr. Mabasa, thank you so much. I'd just like to find out from you whether you could detail what life has been like since the collapse and the closure of the mine here in Louisville.
Thank you, Govan. The life of the community members here has been so terrible since the collapsing of this Lily mine, the 5th of February 2016. Nobody could get anything to put on the table. As you know, children must go to school. People must get clothing. People must sometimes travel to town to go around looking for work. Since this mine collapsed, it's hectic, life is terrible. People are suffering.
Of course, now there is renewed hope that the mine would reopen, and many of the communities here, community members here, are hopeful for that. What does the fact that this mine could open early next year represent for you guys?
If this mine can open early next year, that will be a really huge blessing for this community. This is what we're praying for. The thing is, we have heard so many promises that have been not fulfilled. If somebody new that will come and put money on the table to the business rescue and say, here is the money, open this mine, I think the community here will be celebrating so wonderfully.
One of the other things that's happened is there's been an influx of people from Swaziland coming here, hopefully hoping to mine this area that's been closed off illegally. What's happened in the community relating to crime since the closure?
Since the closure of this mine, the crime has really escalated, because I will tell you, this mine started because some community members started to mine here. In the old days, some were from even Swaziland. That is why today you see some people from Swaziland coming to do illegal mining here. So if this mine is still closed now, this crime escalation is becoming so devastating and it's so increasing. But if this mine opens, we are definitely sure that at least this crime will be minimized.
Thank you so much. That's Mr. Sizwe Mabasa, former HR officer and also an employee here who never received his severance package, just giving us some insight into exactly what's been happening at the mine.
Yes, still such a heartbreaking story. Thanks very much for that. My colleague Govan Whittles live to us there from Barberton. 2 years and 9 months since the Lily mine disaster.